This is the, this turning from small to great, like anything else in the path of spiritual progress. We at times will meet our turning points in our practice. And so this, in this context, that's what the title refers to. So in learning the Buddha's way, we must attain teachings and gain understanding. This is part, and how do we grow in our understanding? And I've shared with you all in the past that one have to go to the level of understanding, which is beyond the intellectual capacity or capability of the mind. And one thought by observing capabilities, and it's what the Buddha did. And he did not specifically speak that is part of the great vehicle Dharma. And there's a reason being is that he didn't grow in the level of understanding and realization for them to they can then slowly grow to accept this great Dharma, great vehicle Dharma. And that's what relates back to the first line. When he made it clear that all have the Buddha mind, they gradually turn from the small to the great. And this is to lead through skillful means, of course, from the mind that is confined to the small, if we go to the great, by the growing in this level of understanding that they have in the Dhamma. So when he turned to expound the Vajrayana Sutras, he taught both the great and the small vehicles. Obviously, at that time, the people who listened didn't realize that. So after this, during the Prajna period, he helped everyone universally understand that the true principles of all things in the world are without form and substance. And that conflicts between people always arise from a single thought. But most of the time, in unenlightened minds, we always blame on something else, not realizing it's all within us. So we do this by letting go of our attachments and desires. And in this life that we have right now, especially the way that we've been brought up and the way the world works, fame, wealth, and status, ultimately they're all empty. Obviously, those who have taken up the monastic vows and they would have left the worldly life, and then the mind is then free of all these hindrances. So, in fact, for all of us who are unenlightened, suffering or happiness is created in the human realm. But mostly those who have progressed, they are in the heavenly realm, must I say. Well, there is no significant good or evil karma. And the only problem is that in the heavenly realm, they just enjoy their merits. And like even in the human realm right now, you see people who are at that level. They are lucky, they have everything they need. They just have everything that they need, on everything that they want, not just as need. And all these are created in the human realm. And better goes good on evil karma. And so we got to learn how to purify all this evil karma that we have. So there's this particular saying the master said about Emperor Lamb's repentance: the rage of a king can result in corpses for 1,000 miles. And this is an analogy of the influence that we have. So if you work in an organization when you are the boss, whatever you say may be very subtle and nothing great about it, but it's great impact to the subordinates. And sometimes when things are being said, when people are hurt, often you hear this line, they say, why is he so sensitive? Right? So that's when we are not mindful in our words and our actions. So the lessons learned here is during the Vajrayana Gama period, the Buddha discussed about existence and the karmic law of cause and effect. Brother, am I supposed to stop at 6:50?
6:55 will do. 6:55.
Okay. Okay, let me then speed up a bit. And so when Bodhisattvas teach sentient beings, they need 4 kinds of fearlessness. Now, those in words in red, I've taken it from Master's previous teaching, and let's organize it in that way. Fearlessness of wisdom of all Dharma. So is it retain all Dharma? Fearlessness of ending all leaks. Know the sentient beings' capabilities, desires, and natures, and the mind, which is also referring back to the initial verse. Fearlessness of explaining hindrances of spiritual cultivation, discernment about answering questions, especially those who have been hindered. Fearlessness of explaining the path of ending suffering. And you can read about this in this slide, talking about how to overcome these 6 roots and the 6 dust. So the Vaipuya refers to the methods of teaching. It contains the door of existence, which is the karmic law of cause and effect, and to the door of emptiness. Then obviously Master often refer that about the wondrous existence in true emptiness, and this is the beginning of the teaching that refers to the 2 doors. So on contemplation, if we were not for people who had the world transcending spirit to walk the bodhisattva path, there would be no one to transmit the Dharma to us. So we are here in this lifetime to have the affinity to walk, to encounter Master who walk on this bodhisattva path to transmit to us, and no one to uphold the great vehicle Dharma, who have done that. Obviously, there also are the great masters around the world who is also doing that. So as one who walks the bodhisattva path, cultivate to the best of your ability so that you can share the path in the future. So therefore, after we have learned, and Master has always reminded us, then it's incumbent upon us then to share to people who come after us. So just as you have benefited from the Dharma, you need to share your experience of your self-growth to others. So on relationship, purity in relationship. In relationships, there are allurements and afflictions. In allurements, the intimacy resulting in painful separation and departures. And we will face that. In afflictions, there are conflicts resulting in resentment and hatred. And then it's the state of the mind that we are in. Have the mind in control, wandering alone in emptiness of attachment and affliction. And this is what Masters are trying to refer to us. With the growth in spiritual consciousness, wander alone with the arising of the pure heart. Okay, Kanan, brothers and sisters, thank you.
Yeah, Kanan, thank you so much, BrotherChin, for the sharing. Okay, next we will have our group photo session. Everyone, please, brothers and sisters, on your video and review your joyful smile, your bright happiness, even though in this pandemic situation, because still not stable. I think a lot more people are getting their vaccine now. Hopefully that will.
Sister tapping, I'm very guilty because I never exercise. I see Sister Kapping, I tell myself, Irene, you must do it a little bit even in the house here. Thank you, Sister Kapping. Sorry, I so kanchang interrupt because I see Sister Kapping every time. I already, the motivation is there. Silent motivation is there.
Sister Suching, sorry, I overran.
No worry, BrotherChin. You can go to the end also.
I should have cut shorter.
No worries.
No, really.
No
So great sharing.
Yeah. Okay, over to you, Sister Suching.
Brother Robert, and all.